Welcome back to the ModSauce server. As you can see here, my quarry, which, yes, it started out as a buildcraft quarry, and then I had some trouble, so I switched it out for the ender quarry, which apparently I think was the better idea, and started it going. And as you can see here where the water was, we've had a lot of lava down here, and it's just now finishing up the last few columns in the last chunk of the quarry area. Now I will be setting it up again. I'm going to move the whole setup right over here and run another one. And I think I'm thinking what I might just do with this other one is get the area all defined, and then make sure that the top layer is flooded with water source blocks. And the reason being, you come over here to this area of water. This is a pool of water that was here when the quarry started, and you go all the way down here, and you see that this area, in spite of lava or anything else, went all the way to bedrock. Whereas around it, you see a lot of lava, a lot of obsidian, a lot of cobblestone, and so on. And I think it will just be easier all the way around to make sure that everything gets mined out, to just go ahead and flood the surface area with water source blocks from the get-go, right off the bat. Alright, so that's what I'm doing there. And I'll be working on that. I'll set that up and run it off camera. I'm sure you don't need to see yet another quarry run. I did solve the power problem for this. There was a little bit of a power issue, or at least with the buildcraft quarry, I thought it was a power supply issue, so I went up here to just below the build limit. And it takes a while to climb this high. And I've got a dozen of these windmills. And at just below the build limit, just as I think a few people told me about this, 200 kJs per windmill at this altitude. Higher up you have them, the faster they run, the more power they produce. And so that takes care of that. Plenty of power. And the power from those is exclusively available to the quarry. Now, heading back to the overworld. Hello. Okay. And with the advent of all that raw material, I started setting up some automation to process it. And you'll notice almost all of the chests and stuff are gone from here. This is still sitting there because I couldn't figure a better place to put it at the moment. I've got a second ME drive with 5 modules in it, and so on. We pop down here. I've got all 4 of these molecular assemblers hooked up. Each one of them has 4 ME interfaces on it. And if I've done my math right, then this one line, which thanks to the use of some covers is not interfering or connecting to any of the others, that one line that comes off the controller should provide just enough channels to run all of those machines, unless the assemblers require a channel. I don't honestly know whether they do or not. I looked up on the Applied Energistics website, and it didn't say one way or the other whether the assemblers require a channel or not. I know the ME interfaces each take 1 channel, so we'll see about that. But they're hooked up and appears to be everything working, so that's good. Over here I've started to set up some of the machines. I had this, which is a pulverizer with that from upstairs, where I can set up to pulverize individual things on demand. I've got This metallurgic infuser is finally automated. It took me, believe it or not, 2 hours of fussing one way and around and tearing it down and building it up 18 different ways, and finally figured it out that I've got power going in on the back, and I've got an export bus on this side supplying it with redstone. I've got an import bus on this side picking up whatever it makes, and then an ME interface over here. This one puts in, it creates the enriched alloys with 1 iron ingot. This one you take a osmium ingot and pop it in there with the redstone, and it'll create this basic control circuit, which is used in a few things. The controller, I've added a few more chunks to it, blocks, pieces, whatever, and still not quite sure what to do with that. You want as many exposed faces as possible because each one is worth 32 channels and so on. So working on that. Over here there is another bit of ME crafting storage and whatnot. Crafting processing, a coprocessor, and crafting storage for dedicated use by machines over here, since without that, that was part of the reason this wouldn't work, and so on. Over here is where we're starting to process individual. Wait just a cotton picking minute now. This was working great. As you can see, it's been pulverizing iron. Oh, that would be it. I turned the output off briefly a while ago because I used the furnace for something else temporarily and forgot to set the output back to where it's supposed to be. So there. All iron, raw iron ore goes in here, gets processed into ingots and sent back into the ME system. And the way this is working, channel-wise, and this one is on that line over there, each export bus or import bus uses a channel. So over here, this line here is another separate line coming off the controller, and where necessary, I'm using covers to keep the lines from crossing and whatnot. You know how it is with Ghostbusters, thou shalt not cross the lines. So these 4 machines and these 4 and those 2 are all going to be run off of this line. And each machine is 1 channel because there's an import or an export. And the way I'm doing it, the top machine inputs from the back through the bus. It outputs down. The furnaces input from the up and output to the back. So 1 machine, 1 channel, and so on. So I should be able to put quite a bit more machinery over here just on that 1 channel, that one group of 32 channels. It says 8 of 8. That doesn't make any sense to me. And anyway, now I was going to be making more 64K storage modules, but I run into a little bit of a problem. One of the things I'm short on is glowstone. I've got enough processors here. If I was to turn that number down, say, no. Turn that down to say 3. It would. Okay, I'd need Certus quartz dust and Certus quartz crystals and glowstone. One of the things is a supply of glowstone is used in a lot of things and so on. And of course, mostly the only way you get glowstone is to go to the nether and hunt it up and mine it. I don't want to do that. I just plain don't want to do that. And if we look in here at glowstone, and we look glowstone, you get it that way. Glowstone dust, you can get it from lacerating glowstone or redstone lamps, and it's a fish product, interestingly enough. and so on. You take this kind of fish, raw glowfish, run it in a crucible furnace, and you get fish oil and glowstone dust. So, okay, how about fish? Well, I got looking around and I put together this fisher from Mine Factory Reloaded. And it's been producing a variety of items. And most of which is fish. And so on. You put this over a 3x3x1 of water, supply it with power, and it slowly fishes. So I'm thinking that if one works, although albeit slowly, then a whole room full of them will work even better. Let's see. Raw plastic. Apparently, I haven't got any. I've got 4 of these left. Okay, yeah. Yeah, raw rubber. Okay. Now I forget. Can I get rubber out of this MFR rubber wood? Let's see. Not in a pulverizer, I would think. Let's see. What do we get with this in a furnace? Charcoal. Okay. Alright, it looks like I'm going to have to do something. In the meantime, let's see. Let's see. Recipes for this. Okay. Cooked rubber wood, you get... Oh, in a sawmill. Okay. In a sawmill, you get planks, jungle wood planks, and a 50% chance of rubber. That's the only recipe for it? Wow. Uses for rubber wood. I probably don't want to even see that. Precision sawmill. 4 planks and a rubber bar. Well, in the meantime, I'm going to take the rubber that I do have and throw it in this furnace to cook. Let's see, that one is not hooked up. Actually, yes it is. It's hooked up, so export will work. Okay. Alright. Oh, jeez. Having a problem lately. I can't seem to find the home row on the keyboard just exactly right. Plastic pellets. I don't think that's going to be the same as raw plastic. Oh, regular smelting. Rubber bars. Block of plastic. I don't want to cook those down. That's what I want to make. Rubber from electrical age. Okay, the rubber bars look like it's going to be the way to go. They're just going to have to be smelted down, which means smelting them twice because they're already being smelted to turn them into rubber bars. And then they'll have to be turned into the other, but we'll get it done. Having trouble finding the right keys. So anyway, I figured the idea, a good solution here, to put together a bunch of these things down below. Put in another layer here. Got a room cooked up down here. I've got another cable come down here. I've one channel for the ME crafting terminal. That leaves 32 channels available. 31 channels, excuse me. And so if I took and put a whole bunch of these fissures down here, and let's see if I go ahead and alright, and we'll just take some water. And there we go. And then if I just expand this, like so, see, each machine has to be over a 3x3 by 1 area of water source blocks. But what occurred to me was that doesn't mean that they couldn't share part of those source blocks. So let's see, I could just so if I put one of them here, it's over a 3x3. Put another one right next to it, so is it. Granted, they're overlapping, but that doesn't seem to me to be a problem. So if I get a bunch more of these made, run power lines down the back side connecting to them, and then run an ME cable along here with import buses connecting to the top of each of them, that should do the trick. So I'm going to put things together, come up with the rubber I need to make these things with, and we'll get started on some of this. Probably going to have to go up top side, and if I remember right, yeah, I've got some rubber trees planted out here. I'll need to just get some bone meal and my really good axe and start cutting these things down and getting the rubber out of them. And so I'll have to sit here for a while and farm the rubber and then process it and get it made into the plastic I need. Make up more of those fishing machines from the MFR mod and get everything hooked up. And I'll check back in a bit. Alright, I think I just about got this thing ready. I've got the cable coming down, as I said before. Connects to the crafting terminal. Well, I guess I can just go ahead and throw that there and this there. Cover up the holes and so on. I've got a bunch of covers here, covering up where the cable comes out to here. Comes down here, roughly sort of in the middle, and then heads out to hook up to each of these. And it'll expand. I'll have another set like this over here on the other side when I get done. But for right now, pop down my tesseract and main power, let's go. And these things, they take a little bit of time to start actually sucking up energy and doing something, but they do work. I promise you, I know that because the one upstairs works. And this should be very simple. I suppose no, I didn't have to use a node with the tesseract before. I might, well, let's see. I've got one here. And some energy extraction pipe. Alright, fine, let's do that. first. Yeah, okay. So we'll put a note there. Energy extractor here. Tesseract there. It connects, so it should work. Alright, I'm going to give this a few minutes to do whatever it needs to in order to get power to these things and so on. Alright, got it figured out. Ended up going with the RedNet energy cable. That seems to work. It connects directly to the Tesseract and to the machines, and they're provided with power right away. Now, I had tried the Buildcraft energy pipe, the Golden Kinesis pipe. I was gearing up to build Ender IO energy pipes, but that takes a little while, and so while that was cooking, I started working on this, and this seems to be working. So they're doing work, they're getting power, and that means the system will be filling up with assorted fish. And the next thing to do will be to expand this setup over here, bring another line down from upstairs if need be, and of the smart cable, and get this thing producing lots of fish. And then as the fish collect, put together systems to process the fish, starting with the glowfish being processed into glowstone. I did have to make one more run into the nether to buy. Good. I got buying and selling on the brain. Anyway, one more run into the nether to use the old hammer of Silk Touch and the magnet of Suck on collecting a bunch of glowstone. But hopefully that should be, I sincerely hope, the last time it's necessary to do that. I really dislike getting shot at. And so I'm going to pretty much call it right here. And by the way, I know my episodes on here have not been all too frequent, and you've seen today a little bit of why. There's a lot of figuring out stuff that for some reason is taking an inordinately long amount of time per problem, especially when it comes to getting applied energistics to interface to things correctly. Plus, I've had some personal issues, and well, let's just say when you have a migraine, you really don't want to do anything but sit and hope that it goes away. Yeah, lots of fun, that isn't. Anyway, I am going to try to at least get something uploaded in the way of a video every day. My published time is, I'm aiming for 8 o'clock in the morning, but it could be anywhere from 8 o'clock to noon, and that's U.S. Central Time for those that care about time zones. And I'm going to have something. If it's not a ModSauce, I'll have a Skyrim episode or a World of Warcraft, and sometime in the next week or so I should be resuming Kerbal Space Program, because the new version is out and I'm only waiting now for mods to update to the new version. So we'll be getting going on some of that, but you can expect there should be something uploaded every day sometime between 9 a.m. and noon U.S. Central. And meanwhile, I'll be working on ModSauce and trying to get a lot more regular about getting that up as well. In the meantime, I'm going to put this thing to bed and start crafting more of these things, get this set up, duplicated over here, and start working out exactly the process I'm going to put together for turning those glowfish into glowstone. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.